Hey, my name's Angel. Welcome to Universal Strength, where we transcend today for better tomorrows. In today's video, I'm going to help you set up your impedance scale and figure out how many calories you should be eating every day. What is an impedance scale? An impedance scale uses a bioelectrical current to travel through the body, and with mathematics it figures out how much body fat is on your frame. The parameters of mathematics are based off of your height and your current weight, and the time that it takes for the biometric signal to travel through your body and back down to the scale again. Bioelectric currents have an easy time traveling through fat. Due to the density of lean mass, it is much harder and takes a lot longer time for the signal to travel through the lean mass down through the fat. This is how it roughly estimates how much body fat is on your frame. Be sure to measure yourself at the same time each day. By measuring yourself at the same time each day, you will receive more accurate results. I personally prefer to do it after the 3 Escatiers: shower, shit, and shave. This way I don't have anything in my body conflicting with the readings on the scale. One thing to really note is that weight will always vary based upon what you've eaten throughout the day, especially the day before. Things like sodium and water and carbohydrates have a tendency of creating what's called flow over. It's where your body gets oversaturated in glycogen and water. For every gram of carbohydrates that you eat, you can expect upwards to 4 grams of water to be on your frame. Using scale weight alone can set you up for a lot of failure. The reason why is because you could have eaten a really heavy carbohydrate-based meal the night before and put on 10 pounds just in water weight and glycogen. One thing that I invite people to do is actually get away from weighing themselves every day, and instead just go off of how you look in the mirror. The reason being, once again, is because on a day-to-day basis, your weight's going to fluctuate. Some days you're going to look really hard and really lean, and other days you're just going to look soft, depleted, and maybe even chubby. The reason for this is due to a whole bunch of things, whether it be stress at your job or because you've undereaten them one day and overeaten the next. There are so many things that contribute to how your body composition can alter and change. But as you go on through this lifestyle change of your own, you will start to see that you'll learn what your body is supposed to look like, or how it looks like, and how it responds to certain stressors and certain diets. So let's take you over to my scale. I'm going to just set it up real quick for you. I'm even going to stand on top of it. And then we're going to go over to my computer, and I'm going to show you how you can set up your macros based upon all of those numbers. Alright, the first thing you need to do is put on some non-copyright sound music if you're a YouTuber. And then strip down naked. You may see in this part. So I'm just going to show you guys really quickly how easy these sorts of scales are to set up. So I've got profile 3. I'm hitting 5'10.5" is my height, and I'm 34 years old. These are the metal plates that the bioelectric shock will be coming through. Once again, it don't hurt, so you don't gotta worry about that. Now I'm gonna stand up on this scale, bare ass butt naked, and we're gonna see what my total weight is, how much lean mass I have on my frame, and how much body fat. Alright, so we got 26.9% body fat, 54% water, and 37% lean body mass, and 9 pounds bone mass. Alright, so there you have it. Now you guys see my total numbers. And what we're going to do now is I'm just going to whip you guys over to my computer, and I'm going to show you how you take those numbers in order to figure out how many calories you need to be eating in order to lose weight or even gain muscle. Alright, you beautiful people. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to your total daily energy expenditure calculator. In order to find that, just go TDEE calc and click on the first link. From here, you're just going to put in your age. I'm 34. You're going to put in your weight, 233 pounds. Your height, just go to the closest denominator that you can, and then click on how active you're going to be. I'm personally going to be working out 3 days a week, and because of that, I'm just going to go with light exercise because I actually don't have a job that requires a lot of energy throughout the day. I'm pretty sedentary around the house. If you're someone who has a really active job and is going to be working out 3 to 4 times a week, I invite you to consider going with either heavy exercise or moderate exercise. So I'm going to click here, and then from here I'm going to put in my body fat percentage, 27%. Hit calculate. From here it's telling me that in order for me to maintain my current weight, I need to be eating 2,800 calories. Now if I had like a moderate exercise level, I would have had to eat 3,157 calories. So what's going to happen here is this may vary. And so what I'm going to want to do is on a week-to-week basis, readjust accordingly to my goals. My goal is to be losing about 2 pounds per week. And so as long as I'm seeing the scale weight drop down to 2 pounds and seeing percentages lost on my body fat percentage, then I'm going to keep it at this level. But one thing that you're going to find is that you might want to manipulate your caloric intake based upon your goals on a week-to-week basis. So down here, it's going to give you a BMI score. This is called your body mass index. Body mass index is actually a really inaccurate way to try to decide whether or not someone is overweight or obese. And the reason why is because if it takes your entire body fat and then calculates that, it takes your entire weight and then calculates that as a part of your equation. Our goal is to not have anything to do with our total weight, but instead understand this section right here. Maximum muscle potential. How ripped could you get according to Martin Barkhan's formula? Your maximum muscle potential is 172 pounds at 5% body fat. Most people have no desire to be 5% body fat. So you'd be 181 pounds at 10% body fat and 189 pounds at 15% body fat. So just to give you guys a little rendition of my personal experiences. When I got down to 180 pounds at 10% body fat, I was on an extreme caloric deficit as well as a very restrictive diet. There wasn't much freedom that I got to personally have in terms of what it was that I was eating throughout the day. This didn't leave much room for me being a lot of fun outside of the house. I was constantly sort of restricted to a particular diet that didn't allow me to go to a restaurant and be very sociable. So not only that, but then also being at 10% body fat as a natural athlete actually leaves you feeling really depleted. Really tired, kind of lethargic, and not very strong in the gym. Now, of course, this is different for person to person because there are some body types naturally that walk around with very low body fat percentages and have no problem with being 10% body fat. But for myself personally, I have found that 15% body fat has been the perfect number for being able to have not only a fun social life, going to restaurants and so on, but then also just feeling energetically and strong throughout the day. So for my particular goal, I'm only going to aim to lose body weight down to 189 pounds, and I would like to see the scale say 15%. So if you go over here, over to maintenance, cutting, and bulking, my goal is to cut. I don't know what your goals are, but if your goals are to bulk, just click this section here and it'll lay out your calories for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go cutting. And for myself particularly, I'm going to be doing a keto-based lifestyle. So I'll be aiming for what's called as a low-carb diet. If I was to follow these parameters here, when we go over to MyFitnessPal, which is this little app over here, these would be the numbers that I would be trying to aim for. And these percentages are going to be what I would put into my goals section. So what we're going to do is we're just going to quickly whip over to MyFitnessPal, and we're going to just put all of these numbers that we received into it in order to help us keep track of the calories that we're eating throughout the day. So here's MyFitnessPal. This is something that you get to download on your phone. You can also use it on the computer. It's a little bit more in-depth on the computer, but for the most part, I'm sure a lot of you will just be using your phone to log your calories. What's really great about MyFitnessPal is that it actually has a barcode scanner implemented inside of the app that allows you to buy, when you buy all your food, you can just scan the barcodes and it will right away implement it or put it into your phone, and you won't have to search for it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to set this app up. We're going to click on goals, and I'm just going to make this a little smaller, and we're just going to divide it like this so we can make this really simple. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to daily nutrition goals, and we're going to hit edit. And what we're going to do is we're going to put our numbers that we see, for the numbers that we see in this section here. These macronutrient values reflect your cutting calories for 2,300 calories per day, which is 500 caloric deficit per day. Okay? So as you see, I've got it all set up here from a prior experience. So we're just going to put 2,300, and I'm going to be changing these numbers here just because I've had a lot of experience playing around with my own body and deciding what works for me during the time of each diet. So because I'm following a keto-based lifestyle, what I've decided to do is make sure that I only have 29 grams of carbohydrates per day. I'm going to make sure that I have 153 grams, which is 60% of my total calories coming from fat. And then I'm going to make sure that I have 201 grams of protein at 35%. For some people, this might be considered as a little bit high, but I try to aim for about 1.5 grams of protein per pound of lean mass during the time of a cut. During the time of cutting, it can be very catatonic to your muscles to be in a caloric deficit for a long period of time. In order to fight that off, I've made sure to eat about 1.5 grams of protein per pound of lean. And if you look over here, I'm about 172 pounds roughly lean at 5% body fat. So I've kind of taken these numbers and played with them to try to get as close to 1.5 grams of protein per pound of lean in this calculator. The reason why I'm doing 29 grams of carbohydrates is because the majority of my carbohydrates are going to be green carbohydrates, things like broccoli, kale, celery. Things that are really, really green are obviously better, but what happens is they're accompanied with a high amount of dietary fat. Some nutritionists will tell you to count your did I say dietary fat? What I meant was dietary carbohydrates. Dietary carbohydrates are basically just fiber. And some nutritionists will tell you to count your fiber as a carbohydrate. But for me, what I like to do is make sure that my digestion is running smoothly and everything's going well with having at least 30 grams of dietary fiber. So I invite, actually, for every nutritional program that you follow, whether it be keto, paleo, or any other, that you try to get about 30 grams of dietary fiber in your total amount of carbohydrates. So for this particular diet, what makes this keto is that the majority of my calories for carbohydrates are coming from dietary fiber, and for the most part, it's not going to spike my insulin at all in a way that is going to remove me from ketosis. Anyway, I hope some of that makes sense. It's a little bit all over the place, but key and point is take any of this diet, like I just start anywhere with any one of these diets. Just go with a moderate carbohydrate. This is probably going to be your most friendly switch and change to your current lifestyle choices. Put these numbers inside of here and then just hit save changes. Now, from here, I can't really show you how the barcode ordeal works, But when you go into the app on your phone, over on the top right hand corner, you'll see enter in food by bar scale or by barcode. So what you're going to do, I'm just going to see here on this, because I actually don't use it off of the website. I'm just doing this to make it visible to everybody in this video. So what we're going to do, let's just pretend that we're breaking our fast or going into eating our first meal of the day. We're going to click Add Foods. And we are going to just, if you can just imagine that you usually have a barcode over here, so when you search for food, you don't have to type it out. But we're just going to type in oats. And we're going to see here that it's going to put up jungle oats, 1 cup for 146 calories. So I'm just going to, or if you actually look here, we've got some quick oats, 40 grams for a half a cup, 150 calories. I'm sure everyone's got some quick oats in their cupboard. We're just going to click that. We're going to add a diary. And as you see, it's already put together how many calories, how many carbs, how much fat, how much protein. It's a great app for being able to figure out how much food you're eating throughout the day. And it's even easier in the app. You just quite literally scan the barcode, it'll put it in. And this is where your food scale will come in handy as well, because a lot of this, to figure this out, you're going to have to use your food scale and weigh everything out. So let's just do something like add food. Let's do something that requires you to weigh it. So we're gonna do ground beef, and we're gonna say 5 ounces. So here we go. Generic extra lean ground beef, 5 ounces. So if you notice, it's 376 calories, and this one here is about 360. They're relatively the same. One burger is usually about 5 ounces. So we're just going to click that generic lean ground beef at 5 ounces, and we're just going to add it to the diary. So as you can see, it's just a really simple way of keeping track of your calories. And this is just how I personally take out all the brain work of setting up my calories for the day and keeping track. Back in the day when I first started doing all of this stuff, I used to just carry around a pen and a piece of paper, like a notebook, and I would write out every piece of food and then go home and have to calculate it myself. This kind of takes all the legwork out for you guys. Now I'm going to show you another app, and hopefully I can log into it right away. Okay. Now, eatthismuch.com is a wicked app, because what it'll let you do is go into the settings of eatthismuch.com, put in all the same information, and then hit generate for your meal plan. And it'll quite literally put everything out already for you in a way that allows you to just simply take all of the guesswork. And if you pay for it monthly, you'll actually receive all of this information as a shopping list into your email address. So there are so many different ways to go about trying to implement an eating lifestyle choice and keeping yourself on track. These are one of the many apps that are out there, and this is probably one of the best places to start if you really want to take yourself out of the kitchen. So for example, what it generated for me was a Powerball smoothie, and it'll give you guys the recipe roughly, and then down here, half a cup of grapes. Right here we've got 4 tablespoons of peanut butter and 4 stalks of large celery. And look at this, for dinner we're gonna get a grilled salmon. So anyway, once again, MyFitnessPal, really eatthismuch.com, really great app that you can use to figure out your meal plans. The sweet thing is too, is you can even put in a estimated cost per day. So if you're on a really strict diet, you can make this a really basic nutrition plan. And if you've got a really lavish diet, the more money you put in here, the better your diet is. So if you really want to take yourself out of the kitchen and take yourself out of the responsibility of logging everything, try out eatthismuch.com, check it out, and see if you like it. All right, you guys. So that's basically how you start on logging your food and understanding how much you need to put in your mouth. As I've said, you're really going to want to buy yourself a food scale and that impedance scale, because these are just healthier ways to go about understanding diet. Any diet will work, as I've said. You as long as you are following this one simple rule. It's calories in and calories out. And if you're finding that you're getting a negative response to a diet, maybe that diet is just not right for you. So for example, when I was a full-on vegan, I actually ended up not feeling too good after being a complete vegan for about 8 months. And that was even like with trying to be very, very meticulous on making sure that I was getting enough protein and enough carbs and enough fats. I guess for myself in particular, I just respond really well with a well-balanced diet with a little bit of meat, a little bit of fish, and not being too extreme in any one direction. I also know that there's like a really interesting diet out there called the Carnivore Diet, where it's no vegetables and nothing but meat. And for some people, I hear that they have amazing responses, like Joe Rogan. But for myself, whenever I try that, I always seem to be good with these sort of extreme diets for about 3 to 4 months, and then I'm going to have to get off of them and go back to a more well-rounded diet. It's the same with the keto lifestyle. I can only sustain being keto for so long before I start finding myself craving something or just getting really fed up, and sometimes even just feeling generally sick from putting the type of food in my mouth that I've been eating on a repetitive basis for a long period of time. So just like with the seasons, just show when winter comes, it's time to hibernate, and when summer comes, it's time to be really proactive and productive. You can just expect that to be how your food behaves as well. You're going to find that sometimes you're going to be craving carbs more often than you will be, say, craving fats, or you'll find that you'll be craving higher proteins than carbohydrates and fats. The body just is constantly trying to go for homeostasis based on its environment. So just expect yourself to always be changing in regards to how your nutritional portfolio is set up. Anyway, I hope that this video helped you out. If you guys liked the video, please like the video, and if you have any questions, hit them up with the comments down below, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon for future videos. Take care, everyone.